Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about Season 20 and everything that's coming out with it, because this is basically Apex's Season of Health. Now before we hop into everything, if you guys are really looking to take Apex Sale to the next level and really crush Season 20, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top level coaches creating the best, most highly informative guides to make you the best player you can possibly be. We have legend guides, gun guides, VOD reviews, and we'll be cranking out more coming on Season 20, so click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and start to improve today. But okay, jumping back into things, let's start talking about things and breaking them down. And yes, Season 20 will not have a new legend, a new BR map, or even a new weapon. Respawn, instead of pumping all the resources into that, has decided, you know what, our game is in a little bit of a bad state right now, so we're going to do what Rainbow Six Siege did, take a season off of pumping out new content and instead fix all of the systems that are inside the game. This is something that Apex players have been asking for such a long time, and it's finally here, and I'm so excited. Now with everything that's coming, they have overhauled a bunch of systems, including the legend system, the armor system, the new modes, and even some more free stuff. Now the free stuff is pretty basic. There's a bunch of different legend challenges, and you can get some Wraith legendary skins along with some banner frames and some stickers and some trackers and a bunch of other things like that. It's nothing too fancy, but hey, free stuff is free stuff. It allows some people to customize some stuff, and you know, it's always a good thing. But the armor system is going to be absolutely insane, and this is one of the biggest things out there. First off, armor is no longer a lootable item in Apex. You will not find any armors on the ground. There's no white, no blue, no purple, no red, nothing. They will not spawn on the ground, and that is cool for quite a few reasons. A lot of people were worried about that, but let me try to calm your mind a little bit. First off, the loot pool in Apex is very cluttered, especially with a lot of the white items that are on the ground. Removing all of the shields from ground loot is a very solid thing because it takes away a lot of those items that are potentially found on the ground and makes the loot pool less cluttered. A lot of Apex fights are RNG related, depending on the loot that you have versus the loot that the other team has. And if you take a lot of that RNG factor out, then you can actually minimize how random the game is, making it a lot more competitive. If you landed a POI and you are contested, say you find a gun and the enemy finds a gun and a purple armor, they are more likely going to win that fight because they just had better luck than you did. It might not be because they're a better player per se, but just because they lucked out, they win the fight. That's not really fair. And yes, there is the argument that Apex is a luck-based game in some forms because it is a battle royale, but minimizing how much luck goes into it is also a key factor, and I think this is a very solid change. But with that being said, how do you get better shields? Well, you have to get better shields by shooting people. They are still Evo armors, so you're still going to be able to get better and better shields throughout the game, but you're going to be having to do combat damage in order to get that. So yes, there is going to be a little bit of poking involved in the fights now because people are going to have to level up their armors, but in some certain situations, it is also going to entice some early game fights and make games a little bit more faster paces in some areas. I think the early game and the late game are where things are really going to start popping off. The mid game is going to be a little bit slower with less engagements because people aren't going to want to risk anything, but those early game fights and those late game fights are going to be absolutely bonkers. That's just my kind of general guess. Now, shield swapping is also not going to be a thing anymore. They're going to have these shield core items, and if you kill somebody and they happen to have a higher level shield core, it will give you a temporary shield HP boost. So it would almost be like you are shield swapping, but it won't give you the buff the entire time. You're still going to have to do damage to get to that higher shield. So if you're on blue armor, you have 75 HP in shield. If you get cracked and somebody that you kill has a purple armor, then you will get the 100 HP shield that the purple armor gives. But after that temporary hit point falls off, you will go back to 75 being your blue shield. You will not get that purple HP for the entire time. Again, I think this is a very solid change that Respawn is making because it doesn't take away the benefits of fights. You will still be able to armor swap, you will still be able to get some really clutch plays off, but at the same time, it won't reward people for getting some lucky plays or even potentially third partying, because if you third party and get all the loot, then you didn't really do the damage and you won't be getting the better shields from it. So you will still get some decent loot, but you won't be getting the damage, so there is a decent trade-off there, and I think this is really going to cut down on some of the third parties. Not all of them, there's still going to be a thing, but some of them. Now, one thing that I was also wondering when I first heard of this new armor system is, what about the crafters? Will you still be able to craft your armor? Because that might lead to some really hard zone camping where people just rotate from crafter to crafter, and that is not a thing anymore. Replicators in Season 20 will not have that option. There's really only going to be a few options, and there's a bunch of different changes, so let's cover them all. So first off, crafting materials will be removed, and crafters are now free to use, but they can only be used once. They're also limited to healing items, banners, and it looks like also ammo. So you'll only be able to craft different ammo types, medkits, batteries, and the banners of your fallen teammates. So it looks like they're taking the weapons completely out of the replicator, and you're also not going to be able to craft any attachments or anything like that. So replicators are going to be a lot less useful. They might still be good for some forms of zone camping because you can use them to craft medkits, and the crafting is almost instant, but only being able to use it once is still going to be a nice limiting factor. So I don't think this is going to be super overpowered for people just sitting in zone, camping, and holding out the entire time. So crafting armors will no longer be a thing either, and you're going to have to get into fights in order to actually level up your Evo shield. So if you just want to sit in a corner the entire game and wait things out, you're not going to be going into the end game fights with a good armor, and you're probably going to get focused first. If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm in a top 5 situation, I'm sitting in a corner, and I see a team with a white shield, I am more than likely going to ape them because I know that I can end that fight quickly before other teams are able to get on top of me, and the white shield team is most likely not going to be able to put up as good of a fight as somebody that has, say, purple or red armors in an endgame situation, and it makes it so we get an even higher placement. So if you're thinking that you can just sit and wait things out, you're probably going to be wrong, because white shields are not good. I'm just going to say that. White shields are bad. Don't bring them into endgame. You're going to have to fight. Now, on top of the armor system changing, there is also some legend changes coming into the game as well. Legends are going to have upgrade options. They're going to have 4 upgrades per legend and 2 opportunities to upgrade per game. And you can gain these opportunities to upgrade by getting Evo and fighting other teams. These upgrades are also tied to your armor level. Now, according to Apex, each legend has their own unique in-game upgrade tree. I don't think we've seen anything like that as the time of me recording this, but if that has changed, hopefully either my editor throws this in or somebody in the comments can let other people know. Because I'm really going to have to wait and see how good these legend trees actually are in order to start to give my advice on these and also my opinion on these, because right now I don't know if they're going to be overpowered, if they're not going to be overpowered. Is it going to bring a whole new meta into the game because some legends have just better trees that you're going to have to run on certain teams? I don't know. So I really can't give a really big breakdown on that quite yet, but as soon as I do know more, I will be getting a new video out to you guys, and it will also impact the tier list potentially, so stay tuned for those. Now, another big change that isn't super big on some people's radar is the Digi threat. Going into Season 20, it will not be compatible with SMGs, so you're only going to be able to use it on pistols and shotguns. This will cut down the Bangalore meta a little bit. I don't think it's going to completely remove it, and it also seems like Respawn wants to move away from the SMG meta and go back towards a shotgun meta. Shotguns way back in the day were super overpowered. They're still in a good position, but for the past like 4 or 5 seasons, SMGs have just been a little bit better. But it does seem like Respawn is trying to push shotguns back into being the top tier up close and personal guns by removing the Digi threat off the SMG and also combat the kind of spammy up close meta that we have seen recently. Me personally, I don't really care about this change. It doesn't really affect the way that I play because I am a support player, but I do know that a lot of people are going to be affected by this because it is a lot of people's playstyles. So please let me know what you think about this change in the comments down below. And I'm sure that you guys are all excited to hear about the rank revamp coming in Season 20. This is something that I personally am excited for, and it's why I left it to the end of the video, because you know you gotta leave the best for last. First up, RP is back. LP is gone. It's a thing of the past. Thank God, because RP is so much easier to say than LP, because when I say LP, I think I'm talking about League of Legends, and it gets confusing in my own head, and I might be confusing some other people. But RP is back. It's the superior way of ranking us. Also, we can praise the Lord because there is no more hidden MMR matchmaking based off of your performance in your ranked games. So if you are a silver player, you are no longer going to be facing Imperial Hal and the boys, hopefully. The hidden MMR system was absolute crap. It was a swing and a miss by Respawn. Good in theory, bad in practice. You don't need an MMR system to be hidden inside a system that has an MMR. It's literally just ranked, so thankfully Respawn came to their senses, they took it out, and now we're back to the way that things used to be. The new rank also does focus a little bit harder on kills. Placement still does matter, but kills are going to be what matters more, which is good for a lot of people because a lot of people don't like the kind of sit and wait things out playstyle. They'd rather get into a lot of fights, they want things to be more fast paced, and it goes hand in hand with the new armor system because you are going to be having to choose your battles a little bit more carefully and a little bit more thought out, though in practice I'm sure a lot of people are just going to ape things anyway, but who knows until we see that. Next up, the provisional trials are removed. So whenever you're going from say silver to gold and you had to do those promotional trials, they are no longer a thing. Me personally, I didn't mind them. I actually thought that they were a good addition. I do know why some people were upset about them, but I don't think that they were a bad thing. I think it was kind of saying, hey, this is what you're going into. You need to be able to win a game or place top 5 multiple times in order to actually succeed in the next rank. So it was a little bit of kind of a wake-up call. So me personally, I liked these. I'm kind of sad that they're gone, but again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And another thing is splits are back. Respawn took those out a couple seasons ago because people were complaining that they didn't have enough time to hit the rank that they wanted to. So Respawn said, okay, well, we'll take splits out. But then it kind of impacted things a little bit more because the season just dragged on and on and on. And it was so boring for the last little stretch of the game. And it showed in the player number. The player retention was awful for the back half of most of the seasons because players just got bored. They didn't know what to do anymore because people hit the rank that they wanted to hit. And then what else are you going to do? Either bash your head against the wall in a rank that you don't really want to play in, or go to pubs where you're probably going to get run down by 3-stack pub stompers. But with splits, there's going to be a new goal for you to go into for the back half of the season, which is good in my opinion. I like splits. I'm happy that they're back. Also, everyone will be reset to 1 RP at the start of the season, making it so you have to actually grind and climb in order to get to the rank that you're going to want to be in. It's going to be a little bit hectic for the start of the season because you've got everybody kind of meshed and moshed in together with each other. But as soon as kind of the first week plays out, people will start to kind of settle into the ranks that they're supposed to be in, and I think after that it'll be perfectly fine. Entry costs are also back, so you're actually going to have to pay to get into a certain match, which again I like. I think the entry costs are good, and there are also bonuses for top 5 streaks and elims on higher ranked players, which again I think is good. In my opinion though, the only bad change that they have made to this new rank system is they have lowered the level required in order to start playing ranked. It used to be 50, they're dropping it back down to 20, and I don't think that this is a good change in any form whatsoever. The reason that they had to move it up to 50 was because there were so many cheaters running around and it was so easy to just make a new account, level it up really quickly, and get back into ranked after your first account got banned. But having to level an account to 50 was actually a little bit of a grind, so it did slow cheaters down a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. It made it somewhat tedious to actually have to make a new account in order to cheat again. But getting to level 20 is very easy, especially for somebody that's cheating, because you're going to get thousands of experience a game because of how many kills you're getting. So getting to level 20 will be a walk in the park for them just to have them back in ranked and cheating and ruining lobbies. This is a horrible change. I really hope that they fix this before the season actually launches because it's going to have an influx of cheaters at the beginning of the season, in my opinion. Overall though, I am really excited about every single change, especially the rank changes, and I will be grinding ranked a little bit harder than I have in previous seasons if I do actually like the changes. And if you guys want to see my rank grind, come watch me over on Twitch TV/8secondgaming. I'd love to see some new faces over there. Also, if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8secondgaming. I'll see you guys in the next one.